Good morning. Welcome to a dreary Tuesday in Sydney. The patients have just been dropped into, so this is to do with Kira's elbow, and she's getting her checkup today. Hopefully that cast comes off. Quick catch up on Elizabeth. She had her operation yesterday. She's back in the land of the living. It was all good, so no tendon damage, which is kind of a relief. It just was frustrating that she was in hospital for 3 days. Right, as the garbage truck makes its way up here, look, the patients are in. I don't really think we'll ride today. This is like the antiest festive 500 dailies ever, isn't it? But never fear, because, well, you guys mentioned in that Devel vlog in the comments that you desperately want to see some bubbles burst. Do you want to do some equipment bubble bursting? Let's do it. I tell you what, it is a dreary old day in Sydney. You wouldn't want to be riding 500 Ks this week. Anyway, guys, I've been thinking a little bit about how to do this, and what we'll do is I'll just sort of explain the journey we've had over the last 4 years and how we've dealt with equipment, and that'll give you a pretty broad spectrum of the way teams do it. I haven't scripted this, so sorry, Luke. This could just get rogue. I don't know where this is going to go. Got my cup of coffee, so let's go for it. Right, so let's start with team bikes. I'm already starting with these ones. That's a worry, isn't it? Yeah, so in that first year, we had a distributor here in Australia give us a wholesale price. Now, I will premise this by saying that when they say wholesale price, it doesn't necessarily mean the price that they have at wholesale. It can sometimes be a little bit off that. It's most likely a price above that. In year one is what we do. We had Ridley's at the time through one of the distributors here. And the way that literally worked is they gave us a price. I went to Mush, Alex, boys, and said, here's the price. What do you think? And they went, yeah, cool. They bought the frame. Then I went to, was it Echelon or one of the SRAM distributors, did pretty much the same thing. They gave us a wholesale price. There's my second air quotes already. Went down that route. For wheels, we pretty much just sourced our own wheels. Whilst it was a team bike, I'm gonna stop doing it. Whilst it was a team bike, we basically got a bulk discount price on it. I mean, there was 9 bikes bought, I think, through that. Really, I think if anyone walked into a shop or called a distributor and said we're going to buy sort of 7-8 frames, they're probably just giving you this price anyway. Now, don't say that as in oh, how bad is that? You only get, I don't think we deserve a discount. We're just these random dudes asking for a bike. The whole way through this, there's no sort of narrative to who's in the right or who's in the wrong, okay? Year 2, and we were Neuro KOM. KOM being very much the financial partner, but in the equipment side of things, guys, we were on Bianchi's. Now, this is where it kind of gets interesting, right? So that was nothing to do with Bianchi. In fact, it was very little to do with even the distributor at the time, Solar Sports. It was actually to do with a bike shop here in Sydney. The way that worked is we got that wholesale price on the frames, and the guys were then asked, would you like to buy these bikes? Very nice bikes. 12 frames were bought over that 6-month period. That's a big invoice, right? It's a big invoice, and in a way it does buy you a little bit of cachet with that distributor to hopefully help you out as it sort of goes along, but also at the time it bought us some cachet with the shop itself, so they actually built the bikes up. Now, I don't know if this is legitimate or what, but I hear it a lot, and I'm going to adhere to it, is when you get these discounts, right, you're told by the distributor, you can't tell anyone how much the discount is. It's just against the rules. So I don't want to actually go into the pure specifics of it, but look, it was a solid enough discount that made it so awkward to say. It was still expensive bikes. I do need to say that. So year 3, that's when Jay, Jesse and Sam came on the board. And to fill this out and just really break it down, they still paid for their bikes. So they owned their bikes. But even though, and this is where it really gets muddy, guys, because even though you look on social media, the team was called Nero Bianchi, those guys are still buying their bikes. So it's a little bit foggy, isn't it? It has this look and feel of professional, look at all these guys getting this free stuff. No, they just bought bikes. Let's move to year 4, something that we worked really, really hard to make happen. As it works in year 4, guys, basically the riders received their bike at the team camp this time last year, that we can't do again this year, for free. They walked away with those bikes. Now, the way that happened is obviously Devel came on board as a frame partner. And the other key thing here was, this is interesting. So Campagnolo came on board. Not really. It's actually BikeBug. BikeBug are the ones who were supporting us with those group sets, and they gave us 10 group sets. 10 group sets that we were then able to put on the Devel frames and then say to the guys, here are your bikes. Now, it is the role of the rider to maintain that bike, but essentially they walked away from the team camp with a free bike. I can't stress to you, number one, how proud of that we were, because we thought that was a massive step for us. And also at a domestic level, with componentry at that higher level, how rare that is. So that is us. I haven't gone too rogue yet, have I? But what I want to do is just do a little bit of myth busting. So if you are applying to teams and you're in that kind of space at the moment, listen up, okay? Because we see quite a bit of this stuff happening. First thing to do is when you get your contract, have a look at it and get to the equipment section. There is no situation where you should be forced to buy a team bike, okay? We see it a lot. We see it quite a lot. The wording in your contract should always be, you have the option to buy that bike. If you have a perfectly working bike that is perfectly fine, if you want to get it, that's absolutely no issue as well. But do not feel under any obligation to go and get that bike. The second thing, and I've been guilty of this. I know I've been guilty of this, but I realize we're in this sort of vicious cycle. Young rider X buys Team Bike X and then puts on social media, thanks to Team Bike X and Company X for setting me up on this new blah, blah, blah. It just builds the wrong perception of how this works, that everyone's getting free bikes. The expectations of junior riders joining teams for equipment is ridiculous. Great example is someone when we do the interview kind of thing, and we sort of explain then the way we do it, and they sort of said, "Oh, that kind of sounds a bit less than normal." Mate, you've got no idea. But that's the thing, he's got no idea. He just expects, because he sees the stuff on social media, that that's what you get. I should mention, I know we're not the only team in the country that give out free bikes. It just buys into it, doesn't it? But you know what I mean? But the way some of those teams do it is slightly differently. So they are bigger budgeted teams. They normally have a big headline sponsor or something like that. And really what they do is they use their budget to buy the bikes and then pass that on to the rider. So the last thing I want to say on this, and this very much comes back to young people applying to teams, listen to me, all right? Don't often have to listen to me, but this is the one you listen to. So you'll see the section in equipment, blah, 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 so what you get, etc., etc. You don't need to do that. We've said that, okay? Please, please, please prioritize what your team says the racing they're going to try and do is, rather than the equipment you're going to get. the stuff will come and go. Like, it really, really will. And I promise you, the discount you're getting on the frame is borderline something you could have done anyway. The racing that you can hopefully get to is what you're joining this team to do, and to be a part of this team and to learn on the road what to do. Not the frothy stuff. It's fake. It's all fake. Except for this channel, it's also honest. But you know what I mean? Okay? And you'll see it in contracts. You'll see, oh God, some of them I've seen, like, you know, here's the $10,000 bike that you got to go buy. Oh, and by the way, we're only going to do 2 races. Like, legit have seen it. Okay? All right. Should go pick them up. What do you reckon? Just quietly. If reverse parking was an Olympic sport, 100% am representing Australia. I don't know if any of that was that controversial, was it? But so, look, that's only just one element of it, right? I mean, we were just basically talking about the on-bike, like bikes, really. I mean, there's all the other stuff, the kit, all that kind of thing. If you want me to go into details with that, more than happy to talk to you about it. But I suppose my one last thing I will just say quickly about it is, one of the reasons I don't talk that much about it, just in general, is my kind of feeling is there's a lot more to making a good team than just equipment. So people can kind of almost like compare the like what you get thing as the reason or the rationale to what makes a good team. Whereas I'm very much of the belief that, you know, that's not a thing. Like, I always come back to this thing, like, you know, played high grade cricket. I never had a team buy a bat for me. Do you know what I mean? So, like, but I played on some good teams. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So, how many days after Christmas is it, guys?
2. No, red. Ow, ow, ow.
4 days after Christmas. And you still have some presents to open. The benefits of Finger Gaze.
All of her.
Okay, bit of an indoor day today. Sorry about that. We will not be getting outside for any riding. We will play catch up. How is everyone's Festive 500 going? I realise this is actually meant to be a Festive 500 vlog, but how is everyone going? What do we got? 3 days left. Let me know how you're getting on. If you need any advice on how to cover the next few days, we'll play catch up tomorrow, I promise. Well, assuming the weather's okay, we'll get out on the bike. I'll leave you with this thought. Kira's favourite present at the moment is an animal called a wheel-lot. It does exactly what it says in the title.